Good evening. Sorry we are running a little bit late today. It's all Anton's fault. Apparently, West Ham United are still having goals disallowed, even though we're not playing at the moment. And oh well. Anyway, welcome to Alex's Tik-Tok Takeover. Good evening. How are we all? I do apologise for the lateness today. It's all Anton's fault, as I said. We had some teething problems behind the scenes, but we are here now. We are live. I have got the England game on. He's kind of just sitting there in the corner. Bowen's had a goal disallowed. It was offside, but it seems that we can't escape VAR. No matter, even if we're not playing, West Ham players are still having goals disallowed, which is it's frustrating for him, isn't it? It would have been great for him to get his first England goal. I think he's still on the pitch. It's kind of in this area at the moment. That's why I've got this on this area, and I've got that in that area. So yeah, if I keep looking that way, it's because I've just heard something, but it's not on particularly loud. So for all I know, anything could happen. Anyway, no West Ham United game this week, obviously because of the international break. Bowen did play in that. Paquetá also played in that Brazil game, and great performance by him. Probably one of the best players on the pitch, obviously. We heard a few other West Ham players in action. I think Mavropanos is in action tonight, so is Souček. Nothing serious has happened as of yet. How Greece do? Oh dear. Well, Greece are not in Euro 2012 because I've just checked and they got knocked out on penalties by Georgia. So no Greece in Euro 2024. Anyway, so yeah, tonight we are going to talk about a couple of things. We'll talk about the season so far. We'll talk about some of the best players and things like that. And we'll also talk about the summer and how West Ham should strengthen. What do we need to do in the summer to improve our team? That is one of the things that we are going to be talking about. And I'd love to go into the comments, and I do want to apologise to Michael, who has been in here who was in here quite early. We are here now, so I do apologise. And hello, Anthony, as well. Yeah, the England game is on, as I say, but it's just on in our background at the moment. Another offside flag. Was that Bowen again? Probably not. Anyway, right. Anyway, evening, GP. How are you today? Right, so let's kickstart. Let's get it started, and we are going to talk about the summer transfer window, because there are going to be some huge changes at West Ham United this summer. I can see there being quite a few players that end up leaving. We could see quite a few players come in. Big change, big things are needed. And here is a few of them. Let me just hide that for you. 1 second. There we go. So we've got a few players out of contracts at the end of the season. At the moment, we've got Johnson, who we know is still in kind of negotiations over a new contract. It's not certain if he will sign that or not. Crystal Palace are apparently very keen, and that's probably going to be where he ends up if he doesn't sign a new deal at West Ham United. So we could probably see him leave in the summer. Mubama is another one who we are trying to tie down to a new contract, but again, we're having difficulties. He wants more assurances on playing time and things like that, so he could be another player that leaves. And also we got Aaron Creswell as well, who we do expect to move on in the summer as well. We've got a few other players that are out of contract end of the season. I think Antonio and Sofel both have options for another year, so I think they have options for another year, so they'll probably stay on. And Bonga as well is probably going to be offered a new year contract, as it was reported the other day. So yeah, we could be seeing a few leave when their contract ends, and a few sign on. I don't have any arguments over Antonio, Sofel or Bonga, really. Because when you look at the big picture, if we lose those three players as well, that is a lot of players we will need to get in the summer, considering some of the players that we may end up selling in this transfer window as well. And I can't find. Where's it gone? Anyway, right. Okay, well, I haven't got that. Here we go. Found it. We'll come to those other ones in a minute. God, that was messy, wasn't it? So this is what we were working out behind the scenes. We had to get these set up. And, yeah, it was just a little bit rushed. So I do apologise if I look completely unorganised tonight, because I'm not going to lie, pretty much am. I did get all this info over to Anton at about 4 o'clock. So, you know, he's the person you need to talk to. Anyway, we could be seeing some other players leaving West Ham United this summer. Though we talked about the ones that are leaving for free when their contract ends. We could see some players sold in the summer transfer window. I mean, one of them could be Danny Ings. He could possibly leave. Cornet could possibly leave. Maybe surplus to requirements. David Moyes doesn't seem too keen on him, and he does have some injury problems, so he is a player that could leave. Aguerd, I don't think he's happy at West Ham. I don't think that David Moyes fully trusts him, and I don't think he's suited to the Premier League personally. I do think he's a very good defender, but I think he is more suited to a European league, and apparently Saudi clubs are very interested. We heard this last summer. I'm hearing it again already. So Aguerd could leave in the transfer window. We don't know about Flynn Downs at the moment. He is on loan at Southampton. He's having a really good season there. We don't know if he's going to come back to West Ham and if he's going to be a player that we can utilise, or we are going to sell him on to Southampton. So he could be another player that ends up leaving, which obviously won't be a big miss because he hasn't been playing for us this season anyway. But when we get to what we need, he could be a player that could do a job for us. And obviously the other one is Paquetá. He could end up leaving in the summer. Release clause does activate. Man City, very interested. It all will very heavily depend on the on the betting situation with him. It's still ongoing. FA are dragging their heels on it, not making any decisions, and I'm fine with that. Honestly, if they want to wait until like the 3rd of September, I mean, I'm not going to moan. I'm not. But yeah, if that does get cleared, then yeah, he possibly could move on in the summer, which, you know, it means that we would get a substantial amount of money, because I think the release clause is somewhere around 85 million, and I think West Ham would insist that that is met. So yeah, if Paquetá does leave, it would mean that we get a little bit more money, and which would help us try and get some of the players that we do need to get in. Obviously, we've also got Ben Rama and Kira, who are both on loan at the moment, and they are probably not going to be coming back. We nearly scored. They're not going to be coming back. Ben Rama will make his deal to Lyon permanent, and Kira is it Marseille? Can't remember. Wherever he is at the moment, I think he's going to be making that permanent as well. So yeah, we could see quite a few players leave West Ham United in this summer transfer window, and it could leave us particularly short. Now, this right here is a worst case scenario. Okay, if you're struggling to see this, I will read it out. Keepers at the moment, we've got Ariolo, we've got Fabianski. We've got a Nang, whose contract hours end at the end of the season as well, so he may end up be leaving. But we've got Nathan Trott, who is currently on loan, but he could come in and be our third choice keeper. But keepers, I don't think is a problem. Fabianski, I think, is contracted till the end of 2025 anyway. He could then have another year onto that contract again, maybe. I don't know. Defence, though, is a little bit of a worry. Obviously, we've got Emerson. I say Sofel will probably sign an extension, I would imagine, so he will probably be there. Zuma, although apparently there is interest from Saudi in him as well, so he could leave. He could, but I do believe that Zuma will probably stay. Jared Bowen has been substituted, and he's still walking 2 legs on his own accord. That is good news. It's always good news. Anyway, right, back. I'm taking these out. Taking those out. Anyway. Yeah, so we've got Zuma. Obviously, we also have Mavropanos. And Oggy. Sorry, I couldn't see them. My eyes went a bit funny. And yeah, we got Oggy as well. Ogbonna. Now, if Aguerd leaves, obviously that leaves us a little bit short. So I do believe, as you kind of say here, that we do need to bring in 2 centre-backs, because I think Ogbonna, while he's still a good defender, can still do a little bit of a job. Like he is getting on a little bit, but he can still do a job behind the scenes for me. but I still feel like we need someone else in, and we will discuss who I think one of those should be in a minute. But another one is obviously a like for like kind of replacement for Aguerd, someone left-footed who can play on that left-hand side with Mavropanos probably playing on the right. I see Zuma as more of a backup personally on that other centre back that we bring in. I think it would be great if it's got someone with a little bit of Premier League experience, maybe someone like Max Kilman, for example. So yeah, that is someone that we need to bring in. That is a position that we definitely need to address. Another one is a backup left back. Obviously, if Creswell leaves, backup right back for Sofel, or a new right back. If Johnson leaves, then yeah, that leaves us a little bit short at right back. So that's another position that we need to fill. Going into the midfield, we need a backup for Alvarez. Now, would that be Calvin Phillips? If he does start improving, maybe. Flynn Downs is another possibility there. We need another CM, I feel. We need someone else because we lost 4-0 who could do that role. So that's another position that we need to fill this summer. And if Paquetá leaves, then yeah, we need some attacking midfielders as well. And ideally, 2 who can play in that position. Maybe one of those who's a little bit flexible can play on the left or play on the right. And while we do have Kudus and Bowen, Kudus who can play on that left-hand side, as he has been recently, I still feel like we need a couple of left wingers who are a little bit versatile as well. Maybe one that can play up front or play on the right or play in the centre. We need some versatile attackers. We need options up front. And finally, yeah, I feel like we need a striker. I think one of them has definitely got to leave in the summer, whether it's Antonio or Ings. One of them has to leave, and we need to bring in a striker. And Antonio would probably be the backup. But yeah, there is a lot of positions that we will probably need to fill. Now, this is a worst case scenario right here. This is if all those players that I mentioned leave. Are they all going to leave? Probably not. As I say, it's the worst case scenario. But for example, with players like Aguerd leave and Paquetá leave, then that could probably generate over 100 million, which would be beneficial to us. We didn't spend all the Declan Rice money, so we will have some money available to spend there as well, I would imagine. So yeah, it could be a really, 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 really busy summer for West Ham United, and probably a very stressful one because we don't like to do things easy, do we? But who are some of those players that we are looking at now? I'm gonna rattle off a few names here, but just keep it in mind that we could do this every single year. We could be linked with 20 players and signed 10 that we never even mentioned. So why I'm going to rattle off some players here that we have been linked with in the January transfer window and the summer transfer window before that. There's no guarantee that we're even going to be going after these players. We just don't know. Tim Steiden is hard at work, hopefully. He's got a scouting team out there looking at players, and hopefully he's got a plan. But let's just go over a few names, a few possibilities of players that we could be bringing in. So let's have a look. First off, though, we're going to mention the academy players because I feel like there are some academy players that could be promoted to that first team. And this could also be very important because we've got a homegrown quota to meet. At the moment, we have 8 homegrown players, which include Antonio, Creswell, Ings, Ward-Prowse, Calvin Phillips, Johnson, and a few others. I've missed the other one, haven't I? 1 second. Let's go back. Who was it? Was it Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Bowen? That was it. How did I forget Bowen? That is embarrassing. I forgot Bowen. So yeah, promoting some of these academy players into the first team could help us fill that homegrown quota, and it would be nice. I mean, Oliver Scarles on that left-hand side, very promising talent. Could possibly do a job as a backup to Emerson. You've got Caelan Casey in centre back, very promising central defender. Maybe he could be promoted into that first team and go under the wing of a Bonga, who can help him develop as a player, and he may get a few chances next season. George Earthy and Lewis Orford in the middle could be options for us to bring in if either Souček or Ward-Prowse is unavailable. They are two options. We've got Freddie Potts, who is doing brilliantly over Wycombe Wanderers on loan. He could come back into the fold for West Ham United next season and possibly be promoted into that first team. And of course, you've got Callum Marshall as well, who is on loan at West Brom, but not really getting a lot of chances. So, yeah, there is some possibility that we could see some of these academy players put into the first team and maybe give them more of a chance to see what they can do. Obviously, we all know that the players that we've had around the first team this season haven't been given a huge amount of chances, but that doesn't mean that's going to be the case next season. It really doesn't. So, yeah, there is a possibility that we could push some of these into the first team to come and fill those backup roles. So we don't have to spend a huge amount of money. And we do have to always keep in mind that FFP is a thing. You look at Nottingham Forest, you look at Everton, we don't want to be putting ourselves in those kind of positions. So, this is maybe something that we would seriously need to consider. But, yeah, there is some targets. I mean, if we look at the back, we've got Max Kilman. We've got Adeborough. I'm not even going to try and say it because I tried to say it earlier and I completely messed up. He's at Fulham at the moment. His contract is up at the end of the season. Come from the Man City Youth Academy. Very promising centre-back. So that is a possibility. And Leif Davis from Ipswich, probably one of the best left-backs in the Championship this year, is another option to come in and maybe be a backup to Emerson or take Emerson's place maybe. That is always an option. So that could be something that we consider in the summer. Moving into the midfield, you've got Morgan Gibbs-White of Nottingham Forest. I think if Nottingham Forest do end up getting relegated, then that is a possibility that could happen. That they will need to raise funds because they do need to raise funds because they're in risk of breaching FFP rules again next season if they don't. So, yeah, that is, again, something else that could play in our favour, 100%. You've got Jack Clark from Sunderland, injured at the moment, but has definitely been Sunderland's best player, plays on that left-hand side. And you've also got Jonathan Rowe of Norwich, who also plays on that left-hand side. Two players we were linked with in January. But again, there's no guarantees that West Ham United are going to be going over these. But as I say, we do need to fill a homegrown quota. So I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of the players that we will be targeting in the summer will be homegrown players, English ones, which is a little bit annoying because they do tend to cost a little bit more money, don't they? They do. Anyway. And then finally, you got moving up front, you got players like Dominic Solanke, Ivan Toney, which I don't think is ever going to happen. I think he thinks that we're not big enough for him. So I don't think that's going to happen. And you got Loa Andis, Greek striker, someone that West Ham United were looking at. So that is also another possibility as well. So, there is options out there for West Ham United, some very expensive options, some that may not be so expensive. So they are just some of the players, I'm just going to rattle off here that I've just rattled off that are a possibility to replace some of the players that may leave West Ham United in the summer and fill some of those gaps because there is quite a lot of gaps there. As I say, it may not be as bad as this. This is worst case scenario. I'll say worst case scenario, but you can always get worse, couldn't it? Anyway, let's go into the comments and see how we're doing. Right. Michael, question: does buyout clause have to be paid in one payment? Probably not. No, I wouldn't imagine. I think when it comes to buyout clauses, it just needs to be met like any other transfer. They can agree to pay it. I think it's usually over the length of the contract. So if it's a 3-year contract, it'll be paid off over 3 years. And they work out a payment scheme based on that. So no, it wouldn't need to be paid off in one payment, but it'll be recorded in the books and things like that. So it does work towards FFP, I believe. Pakistan will be gone for 85 million. Time to invest. Yeah, maybe. Joking aside, we are looking at a massive rebuild, and I would prefer a new coach to take us forward. Yeah, I mean, when you got a new, when you got to do a rebuild, maybe starting with a new manager is the right way to go. Possibly. But I'm leaving all judgments on David Moyes and my opinions on David Moyes until the end of the season. Now, I just want to see what he achieves, and he's not going to go before the end of the season, so there's no really point talking about it. But yeah, that is definitely a possibility. If we are doing a full rebuild, we start at the very top and move our way down, getting a new manager who can pick his own players. And yeah, maybe that is a way that we do end up going forward. GP, Anton does work in a Highland toffee factory, so 4 p.m. is a tad late. Fair point, GP. Fair point. Woke Gate has just taken Bowen off. Okay. We'll leave the woke conversations for another time. Maybe Southgate got confused and meant to take off Jared. If Moyes gets the money, then you just know he signs Maguire. Look, when it comes to Harry Maguire, I kind of think that he is a player that would suit David Moyes down to the ground. He will suit David Moyes' system 100%. He just does. He just does. And he would be a good player in a David Moyes side. Now, will the West Ham United side next season be a David Moyes side? That is another question. That is, but he's not a bad defender, Harry Maguire. He has struggled at Manchester United. He has. No slaphead, too old. Yeah, I don't call him slaphead. So Aaron Maguire definitely wouldn't be my choice. Like if I had to choose, it would be like Max Kilman, and then we try and bring in another central defender maybe who has got some experience. That's, for example, like if Zuma left as well, we would need to bring someone else there. So maybe a younger centre back. Who's got a little bit of Premier League experience, but I do think it is essential that the main centre-back we bring in to possibly partner Mavropanos should have Premier League experience, and a lot of it, because I do think that is an essential, and probably have to be homegrown as well. And if he fits both of those categories, I think David Moyes will sign him up straight away. Unfortunately, Harry Maguire does kind of fit that. But yeah, that's one. My personal choice would be Kilman, and another one would be someone around the age of maybe, I don't know, 23, 24, maybe from the Championship. Maybe there's a player out there, maybe from abroad. You know, it doesn't have to be, the second one doesn't have to be someone with Premier League experience. But I think if we're going to bring someone in, Premier League experience is essential, in my personal opinion. I think that definitely would be. You like the career striker Jimmy Chan? I'm not. Do you know what? Whenever I see ones like that, I'm just never 100% sure. Yeah, then I see comments like this, and I'm like, yeah, no, they're kidding. Love it. I like to see team get some unknown young players in rather than the expensive has-beens. Yeah, I think that is why Tim was brought in, to find those hidden talents. But at the same time, bringing in someone who does have Premier League experience, especially in the centre-back area, is a really important thing to do. It's great to go out and find those other talents who could do a job, the hidden talents that no one knows, but having an experienced centre-back is, I think it goes with that question. Especially as I don't think Zuma will end up playing a huge amount next season because of his legs. And he at the moment is our experienced Premier League centre-back. So it would be nice if we bring in another one. I'm not saying that every single signing we have to make has to have that. It doesn't. But I think in certain areas, like centre-back, I think it is very important that they do have that experience of playing in the Premier League previously, because it's not the easiest thing to play in the Premier League, and it does take a while to adapt and to get used to it, as we've seen with Aguerd, who I don't think has quite adapted to the Premier League. Leif Davies, Frimpong, Fofana, Birdwing, Nekatia. that's a beautiful wish list there, isn't it? Will that happen? I don't know. I've never been overly keen on Nketiah, personally. Fofana, yeah. Bergwijn, I do wonder if he can do a job in the Premier League. There's some players that are just suited to European football, right? That's how I feel about him. Frimpong, yeah, that is a target. Obviously, he's at Leverkusen at the moment, and apparently he's back fit and will be back playing against us in the Europa League. But the way I see it is the last time we beat a team in the Europa League quarter final, that was Lyon, and Paquetá was playing for them then, and then we beat them, and then he joined us the next season. So yeah, if we beat Leverkusen, then we take Frimpong the next season. We'll just it's meant to happen. It's meant to happen. Really, I don't know. 20 seconds left. 2-1, game over. Was it 2-2? My stream stopped. Did England get an equaliser? Who was it? Bellingham. Oh, a last-minute equaliser by Jude Bellingham, of course. It makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. How many times has he done that for Real Madrid this season? That's mad. No, brilliant. Well done for him. Anyway, right. Where were we? So, yeah, there is some gaps to fill this summer. And I think Tim has been busy at work, getting the scouts out there. He's in many different. Actually, I saw something today on that Irvine guy who we signed in the summer, but then loaned right back to that. I think it's Austrian side, I think, and he was talking today about possibly showing what he can do at West Ham. So maybe he could be coming in. I think he's like a CDM or a centre midfielder. I think he kind of fits in that one. So you never know, that could be a player that we see at West Ham United next season. That Irvine guy, but I don't know. Michael Blees, we win Europa, Moyes gets his contract. Yeah. That's a question. Everyone who wants Moyes out, if you knew winning Europa League would mean David Moyes getting a new contract, would you want to still win the Europa League and have to put up with Moyes for longer? Or would you prefer we didn't, so we got the sack? That would really split opinion, that one, wouldn't it? That would really split opinion. I personally am all for I don't I'd love us to win Europa League, and if it meant Moyes kept his job, I think he'd bloody well deserve it. Winning 2 European trophies in 2 seasons. How many managers have ever done that? And how many managers have ever done that for West Ham United? And we would be in the Champions League. We could do 3 in a row. No, we got to get past Leverkusen first, haven't we? We do. And that's going to be a difficult one. But we've sold out for the second leg, which is absolutely incredible. Sold like hotcakes. Tell you what, the atmosphere on the 18th of April is going to be mad. As long as we don't mess it up in the first leg, as long as we don't lose heavily in the first leg, and we have a chance in that second leg, I do feel like that atmosphere is going to be absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't support individuals, I support West Ham United. Yes, that is exactly my thought as well. I support West Ham United, not any particular player. Anyway, right, something else that I thought would be interesting, as we don't really have many games to talk about, is let's do it like not mid-season. It's not really mid-season anymore, isn't it? Kind of like a Board International Break Award show. If you had to choose right now, I'm going to give you several categories, and I want you to tell me which player you feel fits this category to win this award right now, based on how they have done this season. And we're going to start off with surprise package. Now, just because Alvarez is there doesn't mean that he is my choice. This is just Anton who has put them there. So who has been your surprise package for West Ham United this season? I don't know if we can count Alvarez as a surprise package because it was a new signing. I think it's been a surprise how quickly he settled in at West Ham United, because he did settle in very, very quickly. So yeah, another surprise package for me. I think Ben Johnson has been a very much surprise package for me. I completely wrote him off at the beginning of the season, Ben Johnson. I'm not saying that he is like the next greatest thing. He's not, but the versatility he has shown this season has definitely been a surprise to me. It definitely has. So yeah, I'd like to know who you think is, if you had to choose right this moment, who has been your surprise package of the season. Southend just at class. Anyway, Kudus, nice surprise. Yeah, that is a nice surprise. Were you surprised? When I say surprise package, like surprised that they surprised you. Do you know what I mean? Like Kudus, I always thought that he could do some amazing things. Phillips, how crappy he really is. Well, that's just turning a positive into a negative there, Michael, isn't it? It's supposed to be positive here. Well, what a good surprise package. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I am as surprised as you that how bad he has been, but he can still get. He's got an opportunity in the next couple of games, and I think Moyes will utilise him in the Newcastle game and the Tottenham game, and he may end up surprising us. It might have been like a bit of a shock, Gareth Southgate not picking him. It might have kicked him into gear, maybe. I don't know, and he might have been working his arse off for the last week and a bit, and he could go into that Newcastle game and put in an absolutely brilliant performance and show us what he really can do. So I'm not writing the man off just yet. But yeah, he kind of hasn't set the world alight so far. Souček gamed it with Rice, found his form again. No, that's fair enough. I wasn't surprised by that. I expected the best to come back from Souček when Rice left, because he suffered because we were trying to accommodate Rice a little bit too much, in my opinion. And when Rice left, Souček was given that freedom again. And no, I wasn't surprised by Souček's return to form this season. But good call. Emerson, didn't think he was that good. Yeah, at the beginning of last season, I didn't. But as the season went on last year, he did get better. But this season, I think he's been immense. Emerson has been immense. Definitely. That is a good call. Alvarez too. Yeah. Now, you can tell why you're the usual suspect. Michael Blaise, Areola, 110 saves, showed he's a world-class keeper. Yeah. Was anyone surprised by that? We knew he was a good keeper. Did we just not expect him to be as good as he was? Johnson, in terms of positions, yeah, I mean that's the one call. I was surprised that he went into that midfield and did as well as he did. I think he has done well when he has come on a right back as well. Not so much on the wing. I don't think he's more suited to the wing, but yeah, he has kind of been a little bit of a surprise package for me. I mean, look, if I had to choose one to be the surprise package of the season, where I've looked at them and thought, yeah, no, they've done a lot better than I kind of expected them to do. You kind of, I'm going to throw Bowen out there, and this is not that I'm surprised that he's so good. I'm surprised that he adapted to that role as an attacker so well. Now, he's not my choice, but he's just another name I wanted to throw out there. But yeah, I think Alvarez is a good shout. I think Ben Johnson is a good shout. Definitely. I personally, I would go with. I'm gonna say Ben Johnson because he has personally surprised me. I would say he has personally surprised me, Ben Johnson. So, but now I've got a few categories here. There's a few questions I can ask. So no, don't worry, we're going to be coming back. Most improved player. So this is obviously going to be a player that was with us last season, and is continued playing for us this season. So maybe not one of our new signings. And I don't think you can get a much better choice than Emerson here, personally. I would personally say that Emerson has definitely been the most improved player for us. But then you've got to give Sofel a shout on that right-hand side. Like, when you have a look at his goal contributions this season, and I mean, it's just assists, but he's got more assists this season than a hell of a lot of players. I do want to find that list because it is quite insane how many. He's got 7 assists in the Premier League. It's more like players like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Martinelli and Odegaard and Declan Rice and Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, give Kevin De Bruyne 2 more games and he'll overdo that. But, there's a lot of big names out there that so far has got more assists on. So I think he could be actually in there with surprise package, actually, so far. Doesn't always put in the greatest performance, but he has been putting in the assists. But yeah, most improved player. I don't think anyone can really argue with Emerson. But if you've got other suggestions, I do want to hear. Bowen. Bowen scoring more headers. Yeah. That was a surprise, actually. Nearly got a header tonight, didn't he? Until he was offside. Flipping VAR following us around no matter where we go. Bowen's finishing. Okay. Yeah, it's a good, fair shout. All right. I mean, most improved, you could also put Bowen in there as well, because I think from last season he has improved. You could say Souček's improved from last season as well, but I think that's more a positional change rather than him just getting better. I think he's always been that good. He was just being played out of position. Bowen, no, he's a good shout. Emerson is a good shout. Areola, maybe, good shout for most improved player, maybe. But yeah, I think most of us have kind of settled on Emerson for this one. So far, good cross. Imagine his assists. He's got 7 assists from crosses already this season. He can cross. It tends to be only one sort of cross he can cross, but he can cross. It's a very good cross to have. Cross is better than some other players we've seen. Anyway, let's move on to the next category, which is disappointment of the season. Anton, are you saying that Aguerd is a disappointment? Dear. Yeah, so disappointment of the season. It's a suitable picture, really, isn't it? Aguerd. I don't think any of us have been overly delighted with him. You could put Phillips in there as disappointment, but as I say, the season isn't over yet. But it's not up to the end of the season; it's up to now. So yeah, so far, you could say Phillips is a good shout for that. Aguerd is a good shout for that. Maybe Antonio, but then he has kind of come back a little bit in the last few games. I don't think there's anyone else really. Ben Rama. I was really disappointed with Ben Rama at the beginning of the season. And technically he's still a West Ham United player, so he's a good shout. He has assists from throw-ins. When have we ever scored I don't ever remember us scoring a goal from a throw-in. I keep on seeing us do it. But I can't, off the top of my head, I mean, I could be wrong, because obviously I can't remember every single goal we've ever scored. But off the top of my head, I can't remember when we have scored from a throw-in. And I know he does take them, but in regards to disappointment of the season, we've got Cornet. Yeah. Man United, knee and dick. What? Troy? What? I don't get it. Aguerd for disappointment of the season. Yeah. I think that's pretty unanimous there, isn't it? Really? What's going on with the comments tonight? It's very quiet in here, isn't it? It's very quiet. There's a lot of people in, but not a lot of comments. Come on, guys. Give me your. Don't be afraid. I won't judge her, honestly. I might take the piss a little bit occasionally, but I'm not going to judge her. If Sofel could address his crossing, he'd be a cross-dresser. God's sake. The bad jokes just continue from the usual suspect tonight. Can't argue with Aguerd being a disappointment. No. Sofel has made the most chances from throw-ins. Yeah, but made the most chances and assisted are 2 very different things. Very different things. Like, we can make chances galore. And technically, if you throw the ball in the box, and there is a chance being made from that. But it doesn't mean that we're scoring goals from Man United injured Sofel and he wasn't sane for months. McTominay needs him in the groin. Oh, right. I get you now. I get you. Or was it the same way? Whenever I think of Sofel and Man United, I just think of that awkward challenge he did with Martinez. Is that what you're talking about? With Martinez? Because Martinez went off injured and Man United fans weren't overly happy with Sofel because they thought that he damaged him. Is that the thing you're talking about? It could be the other one because we did play him at home. I can't remember everything this season. This time of year, many of us hibernate. We're old sods. If you want the young and hip, Budgie's channel. I'm not looking for young and hip. Just people who want to, comment a little bit. It's usually busier than this in my comments on this. We've got a lot of viewers, like 140 odd of you in here. But I'm not looking for young and hip. If I want young and hip, I'll go over to TikTok. I'll do my lives on TikTok. But I'm doing them on here as well. Because over there, I just get them from all sorts. Like literally all sorts. And mostly it's Arsenal fans and Tottenham fans that love to come in and, push their chests out and pretend that they're the best team ever. I don't get that over it. It's all West Ham United fans. It's a lot more friendly. Usually a lot more friendly. It was a slight purpose knee to Sofel's groin. Okay, cool. Will Phillips start against Newcastle? I mean, only Moyes can really answer that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't. I think he is the most likely person to start in place of Alvarez and to give him a little bit more game time. So he can build up that match fitness. As I said, like in last week's live when we were talking about this, this is it's an opportunity now to get ourselves better prepared for that Leverkusen first leg without Alvarez because we've got the next two games without him. And Phillips was one of those options that we possibly put him in so he can build up some match sharpness possibly. So I think that's the way Moyes is going to go. And hopefully, as I mentioned earlier, he's seen that he wasn't chosen for the England squad. And he thought, well, I've got to do more. I've got to do better. And it might have been a little bit of a shock to his system. And he takes this opportunity and shows us what he can do. I don't think it'll be JWP. I just don't. Not sure. I don't think it'll be JWP. I do not want to see just a JWP and Sojek, because I don't think either of them can do that job that Alvarez does. Not 100% sure Phillips can, but I think he is more capable of doing that if he is at the top of his game. And that's what we need to get Phillips back to. We need to get Phillips back to the top of his game. And I've just realised I haven't even got my lights on in here today. It's because I was running behind. It's terrible. One second. Where is it? There it is. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Got a little bit of light now. I just realised I hadn't had my light on. Just got my big light on. This light on. I don't know. I don't know if you want to see if that's better or not now. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works out. How did that work out? Oh, I don't know. That looks worse, doesn't it? I'm sorry if I've just hurt anyone's eyes. Anyway. Let's move on. So, yeah, disappointment season obviously is acquired. Goal of the season. Goal of the season. I think that man right there can take credit for that. That goal against Brentford I thought was absolutely superb. Other shout-outs, Emerson's one, who was against Brentford. Brilliant goal. You've also got Soucek's goal as well. Was that against? Who was that against? I can't remember who that was against, but Soucek's goal as well, which was a fantastic finish. That's definitely a shout. But yeah, for me, it's got to be Kudus' goal against Brentford. I just think that was absolutely superb. I don't think many people have any problems with that. Kudus times 2. You got Kudus' goal against Arsenal, which I thought was brilliant. Kudus' goal against Freiburg, the first one definitely was absolutely superb. Nearly forgot about that. I don't know how I forgot about that one. His second one was a good finish as well. So yeah, Kudus has got quite a few nominations for this, hasn't he? I think he wins it hands down though. Whatever goal you prefer, whether it's the Freiburg one or the Brentford one. I thought the Freiburg one was brilliant. The Brentford one was, I don't know, technically harder to complete. I don't know. But I think goal of the season definitely goes to Kudus. We can debate which one it is. Just shows how good this man is. Win of the season. Now this one is a questionable one and can be up for debate. Is it a 3-1 win away to Brentford? Is it a 2-1 win away to Tottenham? Is it a 2-0 win against Arsenal? Is it a win against Manchester United at home? You know, there's a few to choose from. 3-1 win against Chelsea at home. Which one do you reckon is our win of the season so far this season? I think if I'm going about, I have to go with the Emirates. 2-0 at the Emirates, I think, is win of the season. I would personally say that. But yeah, what do you guys reckon? Brighton away. Going back to goal this season, actually, like Bowen's Brighton goal. That ball over from Benrahma, that one touch and finish was superb. So that is a fair shout because that was an absolutely superb finish. And you know what? I've decided I do not like this light on because it's actually hurting my eyes at the moment. So I'm going to turn it back off. I'm going to turn it off because I think it's not making me. Are we going to turn it off? No, we're not. There it is. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Oh, that was hurting my eyes. It's because I didn't have it on for long enough. I know I've gone all blurry. There we go. We're back now. No, Bowen's goal against Brighton, absolutely fantastic. The ball over, the touch and the finish was a brilliant goal. But yeah, we're going on win of the season at the moment. Michael says Brighton away. It's a good shout. Brighton and Arsenal, yeah, both brilliant. The Tottenham one was great as well. So yeah, we've had quite a few. Is there a game coming up though this season that you think could be better? If out of the games we have left this season, is there one that you would look at and think that would be a better win if we do win it? Like the first leg against Leverkusen, would that be an amazing win? If we lose the first leg like 1-0 against Leverkusen, but then come back to win it 2-0 in the second leg, would that be a better win? Would that be win of the season? Or, maybe semi-finals off the final? No, we don't know. But is there any particular game at the moment that you would say you look at and you kind of think, if we win that game, that could be? I don't think there is. The only big name that we've really got away from home, we've got Chelsea, but they're not the same anymore. You've got Man City on the last game of the season, haven't we? I think we've also got Liverpool, which is at home. And of course, we've got Tottenham at home, which is next Tuesday, which is, by the way, I won't be here next Tuesday because I will be at the London Stadium watching Tottenham. So, yeah, TikTok Tuesdays will take a break next week because I will be at West Ham United, just so you guys know. Liverpool away in Dublin. Yeah, that definitely would be. Liverpool away in Dublin. Yeah, that'd be winning the season. Amazing. Anthony, Spurs away for you. Fair enough. That's cool. Also beat Man United. Yes, we do. Yes, we did. They also beat us. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Swings and roundabouts. Okay, so win the season. Yeah, we can say that. Loss of the season. Is it the 6-1 drop into Arsenal? Is it the 5-0 loss to Fulham? Or is it the 5-1 loss to Liverpool? Which one's the loss of the season? Do we have to? Why did I suggest this? It's depressing, isn't it? So yeah, loss of the season for you. Which one was worse? The 5-0 loss to Fulham, the 5-1 loss, was it 5-1 to Liverpool, or the 6-1 loss at home to Arsenal? I'd probably have to go with the Arsenal one. That's the one that I was most fuming about. But the Fulham one was pretty embarrassing as well. It's definitely up there. So yeah, which one would be loss of the season for you? Would it be any one of those? I would personally say Arsenal. I definitely would. 2 more categories to go. Signing of the season. This is actually a lot more difficult. Now, if you'd asked me, I don't know, end of Jan or the end of December, I would have said 100% Dan, hands down, Kudus. Hands down, Kudus. If you'd asked me, like in October, I would have said hands down, Ward-Prowse. But if you ask me now, I'm like, well, maybe not Ward-Prowse, but maybe Alvarez instead, because I think that he has been a sensation for West Ham as well. I don't think we could have asked for a better Declan Rice replacement, personally. I think he has been phenomenal for us, Alvarez. The only downside to that man is the fact that he does love a booking, does love a yellow card and gets booked a lot. So yeah, who is your signing of the season? I would personally say Kudus, but I think Alvarez would be a fair shout as well. The biggest 6-0 to Arsenal, but we beat them twice this season. We did. We did beat them twice this season. That is very correct. The Fulham one for you? Okay. All right, and so that's sign of the season for me as Kudus. And finally, who is your we'll use that one, player of the season? Who is your player of the season? Now, if you're watching this afterwards, after the live has ended, feel free to leave it in the comments who you want in each of these categories. So who is your player of the season? Who is your surprise package? Who is your most improved player? Who is your disappointment of the season? Who is your goal of the season? What is your win of the season? Which is your loss of the season? And which is your signing of the season? If you're watching this after, please let me know in the comments who you would say at this point in time, at this moment in time, who would you give those awards to right now? Let me know in the comments. That's what I would love to know. And so, yeah, it's gone fairly quiet tonight, hasn't it? I think we've all been watching England. There's not much to talk about for West Ham United-wise. We've got the game against Newcastle at the weekend. Hopefully we can get a win in that game, which I think is very important in our race to try and finish in those European spots, because they are sitting just below us. And so that is a massive game for us on Saturday. Then next Tuesday, we have Tottenham at home, another massive game for us as well. And as I've already mentioned, it's a Tuesday night, so I won't be here for TikTok Tuesdays next week because I will be there. So that is a big game for us next week as well. And it's 2 very important games for our preparation for the Leverkusen first leg, because we will be playing without Alvarez. So it's very important we get some positive results in those games, and we try and find a way to play without Alvarez and to cope without him, because we haven't done so well at doing it. We haven't been so good at doing that this season. So yeah, I've got a couple of big games coming up on Saturday. Hopefully we do well. And next Tuesday, I will be back a couple of days before that first leg against Leverkusen. So I think that is the 9th of April. Tuesday the 9th of April. I do believe it is. Off the top of my head, that is the next time that I will be back for Alex's TikTok Takeover. I'm sure you'll see me pop up on this channel again, though. I tend to do the after-match reviews when we're at home games, so you might see a little video from me then. But in the meantime, if you want to see any content from me, go follow my TikTok, West Ham Fan 86, and I try and do daily updates on West Ham United news and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested, come over and give me a follow. Anyway, I am going to call it a night now, because in the corner of my ear, I can hear my daughter crying. So she's just woken up. So I'll probably have to go and help her in a minute. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, hopefully we get a great result at the weekend. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening and has a great weekend. And hopefully next time we talk, we'll be talking about 3 fantastic wins, and we'll be looking forward. 3 fantastic wins, and we'll be looking forward to a Europa League quarter-final. Have a good night all. Come on, you Irons. See you in a couple of weeks.